Thank you all for coming. Great to be back here. This is the 8th musical and superhero panel. I'm very proud of this. And in 2018, one of the questions asked was, why aren't there any females on this panel as we're a superhero panel? So 2019, we had two. We had Bernard Tobrock and we had Sherry Chung. So we're very proud. And today, I'm so excited to say we have 3 female composers and 3 female firsts. So as I introduce them, you'll hear why. So our first guest tonight, Amy Doherty, is an Irish-born composer, and she's worked in a wide variety of genres in film and TV, and she has the upcoming She-Hulk, Attorney-at-Law, and also her other credits include, as you saw, Spirit of the Tame, because she not only scored, she wrote the song, Fearless, and she has the film High Note, and she did Undone, the Bob Odenkirk series, and she also is an orchestrator and conductor. Her credits include Lady Gaga's 2020 Chromatica album, Star Trek Discovery, and the Umbrella Academy, and she's also an alum of the Universal Composers Initiative and the Sundance Music and Sound Design at Skywalker Sound. So ladies and gentlemen, Amy Doherty. So the next composer coming here has been on the stage many times, Chris Beck. He has scored a significant amount of Marvel film and TV shows, but his iconic films are worth mentioning, even though they're not in this genre, but everything from the trilogy of Bring It On, about The Hangover rather, Bring It On, Frozen, Trolls, Crazy Stupid Love, Edge of Tomorrow, and who could forget the great TV superhero Buffy the Vampire Slayer. So he studied at Yale and attended USC film scoring program. He's also the only student of Jerry Goldsmith. Jerry Goldsmith actually wrote a letter of recommendation. And Jerry Goldsmith, if you don't know him, scored the Star Trek films, and he's very respected composer. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, Chris Beck. Our next composer, another female composer coming to the stage, is Israeli-born composer Namu Meluhad, and she has composed scores for numerous film and TV series. She did An American Pickle, Far From the Tree, and Star Trek Strange New Worlds and Star Trek Prodigy. She is the first female composer in the Star Trek franchise. She was also nominated for Breakthrough Composer of the Year by the International. So I'm going to continue to talk about her while she's right here. She is a Breakthrough Composer of the Year for the International Film Music Critics Association. She won the International Film Music Critics Association Award for Best Original Score Video Game for Medal of Honor above and beyond. Medal of Honor, I think somebody else on our panel did a bunch of those things. We can make the hip suit too, Michael Giacchino. So here she is. Okay, our next composer has been here a few times too. Christopher Leonard. He's equally comfortable on the small screen and stage, and he's also collaborated recently with a lot of Tony Award winners, Alan Menken, Glenn Slater, David Sipple, and he's also worked on songs for artists like Kelly Clarkson, Janelle Monáe, Lizzo, Nick Jonas, Blake Sheldon, on and on. He's for The Boys, which he scored, he was Emmy nominated for the touching song Never Truly Vanished in season 2. And he's also Emmy nominated for Supernatural, and his other credits include Bad Mom, Total Bosses, Right Along, and more. Ladies and gentlemen, Chris Leonard.
I want to the Emperor guy. Okay? I want to go guy. I lost my tongue.
And our third female composer will come to the stage next, Natalie Holt. She's a multi-award winning British composer. But she's equally recognized as a violin virtuoso. She's performed with artists including Lady Gaga, Ed Sheeran, Andrea Bocelli, and the London Metropolitan Orchestra. She scored the acclaimed series Loki, earning her nominations for BAFTA, the Society of Composers and Lyricists Awards, the World Soundtrack Awards for Television Composer of the Year. And just last week, she received 2 Emmy nominations for Loki for score. And she is the first composer. So again, I want to keep you on. And she's also the first female composer to score in the Star Wars franchise. All right, I'm excited to say the person taking over my position here will be Michael Giacchino. And Michael Giacchino has had an amazing year. I think these people scored the only other movies that Michael Giacchino did score this year. He's had a phenomenal year right now in the box office between the Jurassic World and Thor. The last 2 weeks those movies have made over $1.5 billion worldwide. He also did the great, the Batman movie, which I think is one of the best Batman movies ever. And he's an Oscar, Golden Globe, Grammy winner. He's done pretty well for himself. So please give a warm welcome to the lovely and talented. Oh, one thing too. You may recall in 2019 when he was here, he thought it'd be fun to just get the director of the Batman on his phone and said that asked the audience, don't screw it up. He didn't say he was scoring it at the time. So hopefully he'll have one of those great surprises for us. Ladies and gentlemen, Michael Giacchino.
You're in the wrong spot, sir.
So, Amy, why don't you tell us what we're about to see here? Set us up here. We wanted to show some She-Hulk stuff, but the laser dot would go on our head and we'd be like, so it's not quite ready for prime time, I think. But
exactly. So we thought we would show some stuff that I sent to get She-Hulk, or stuff I sent to prove that I can write music with an orchestra.
Yeah.
So I scored a movie last year called Untitled at DreamWorks, and has some big action scenes and kind of in a similar vibe, so we thought we would show that. And then there's a short clip from a Jurassic World short that I scored a couple years ago called Battle of Big Rock. Similar thing. So I think that's what we're going to see.
all right, let's do it.
I'm still in disbelief. I haven't finished learning yet, so we're almost there. 2 episodes to go. But yeah, it's such a fun show, and there's a lot of really exciting. I'm terrified of saying anything. Laser pointers on my hand.
Come on, spill your head. Let's hear it all. What's it about? Tell us the story.
I can confirm she is green, and there is some hulking out.
Okay.
And she's a lawyer. Attorney at law, you might say. And that is it.
That's enough for us, I think. That's good. So you've scored 6 episodes so far?
I've done, there are 9 total.
9? Wow,
Are
okay.
you going to do that?
Seven.
I'm sorry,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
I said
And are
thank
you
you for
doing, where are you recording them? Are you
Yeah. Yeah, we're recording a huge orchestra. Yeah, it's amazing, and haven't actually gotten to go there, but we, get up at 4 a.m. every other week and record for a couple of days with them, and they're amazing. It's been really, really fun.
4 a.m. Jeez, that was like last night just getting to bed at 4 a.m. But anyway, so, Chris, what do you got for us?
I got a clip from WandaVision. Yeah. Great show. This is a scene from late in the series where there's a flashback to a moment of, for Wanda, unimaginable grief and despair that sets in motion all the events of the entire series.
All righty. And you're now working on Ant-Man 18. Is this?
Ant-Man 3 Quantumania, just starting it. And I was only just about to even announce that I was working on it, so I think we'll just leave it at that.
He's working on it. So, but yeah, and you're working with Peyton on that, right? And how's that? Have you done any other movies where you've done all three of them? Any other?
The only other trilogy I did was The Hangover, where I did all three.
That's a good one too. Excellent. Well, congrats. All right, Nami. You grew up with us on Hangover? We got to talk to your parents. All right, what did you bring for us?
Well, I wanted to show Thor's butt, but I can't pass. And I wanted to show one of the deleted scenes of the past. It was an epic thing, though. We recorded the choir singing, "Lord Jesus."
Oh.
Yes.
Great Russell Crowe.
I hope they release it at some point. So I'm actually not sure what we're showing. Natalie Portman's arms are going to be there, so it's.
It'll be a surprise for all of us. All right, let's roll on this. Anyway, so Nami and I worked together quite a bit, actually. She's incredible. I'm very lucky to have been on several projects with her. But you are currently in the middle of Strange New Worlds, which is fantastic. And also Star Trek Prodigy.
Right?
Right? Yeah, and of all the nerds I've ever met, myself included, she is one of the biggest.
Thank you. I'm very proud of that.
It's true. Later, I want you to tell the story of your trip that you made years ago, your pilgrimage, your Lord of the Rings pilgrimage.
My New Zealand pilgrimage.
Yes.
Well, I'm still a big Lord of the Rings fan, and I traveled to New Zealand alongside the book of the location where the locations where he shot the film, and me and my friend, we wore a little ring. We just went throughout New Zealand to look for, murder. We found it. For a crossing, and very highly recommended, yes.
Excellent. All right, Chris. Now, Chris and I go way back to video game days, Medal of Honor, which was crazy because when I did the first few and then Chris came in and took over that. So that just means...
No pressure.
What's that?
No pressure.
Oh, come on. You were great. You were amazing. And it just means we're really old. Because that was a long time ago. So, what do you got for us today?
So we've got a clip from the show The Boys, which you can all imagine that there's going to be a couple of beeps because we can't show or say some of the stuff that's in there. So this is a scene where finally in episode 6, you've got Homelander and Butcher get into these sort of knockdown, drag-out fight with, then Huey shows up, and it's all fighting this total unknown actor who's playing this guy, Soldier Boy. You guys may have heard of him, Justin Ackles, who knows? I actually, luckily, have been writing music for more than 15 years, also on Supernatural. So it was a big coming home for me to have all of these guys fight with superpowers and lots of cursing. So there you go.
Superpowers and cursing. You heard it here first. Here we go.
Sound effects are good.
This is the sound effects panel, right? I haven't watched this yet, and the reason is because I'm like, violent stuff really gets to me sometimes, but just watching that, I feel like I kind of should watch it. My son is out there saying thumbs up. He's been trying to get me to watch it because he knows all deep down all of it. So I actually can't wait to dive into that. Now, especially after watching that. Okay. All right, I'll watch it. Yes. Natalie. Hello, Natalie. I first heard your stuff on Loki. That was the first time. But I know you've been doing a lot of music prior to that, and also playing in the orchestra as well, which is really cool. And well, let's tell us about your clips, and then I want to ask the big question.
I put forward a selection, and I'm not sure which clip is coming, so it's a surprise.
Excellent. Let's see. Before I saw the show, I was thinking of this project that I was working on, and I was like, I want to do something different with this project. There's some music. I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to use a theremin, and I'm going to do this thing. And then I was like, oh, Loki's on tonight. I'm going to go watch Loki. And then I was like really pissed off when I watched it. Because I was like, damn it, Natalie. And I had to figure out something else. But anyway, I love it. You did it great. And was that you actually playing on that?
No, that's a Norwegian folk fiddle, the hardanger.
Sounds great. So, I guess I have clips too, apparently. So, let's show those. Why not? Ghosts. It's always fun to work with screaming ghosts. One day they're going to let us mix the movies we work on. Wouldn't that be nice? What do you think? Any dub mixers out here? Anybody? No. All right, so what do you guys want to talk about? I mean, I could sit here and ask you a million questions, but I'm sure you guys have questions too. So what I usually like to do is just sort of like put it to you. What do you want to know? I mean, we're all here for you, so what would you like to know? Raise your hand. There you go. There's a microphone right there. So step up to the mic. Don't be shy. We also have a karaoke machine hooked up to it. If you would prefer to do that, that's also allowed. So who's first? Oh, Natalie, did you throw something at Simon Cowell? Wasn't there something? What's that story?
Yeah.
Come on, tell the story.
I don't know, I was having a crazy Loki-esque moment.
No, I think it sounded like a very clear moment to me. I don't think there's anything crazy about it. No?
I wrote a piece in The Guardian which sort of explained the finer details. So yeah, I guess it was a slight protest.
I loved it. That made me so happy to see that. Anyway, yes.
My question is about orchestration and setting your palette of sounds. And do you keep like a file of sounds you want to use? And if you do, what's an example of a sound you found that you have not found a home for yet?
Amy, you want to start?
Well, the fun thing about scoring kind of a superhero or a Marvel thing is there's somewhat of a set palette, I would think, in terms of tonality and using the orchestra, but then you get to combine, like, Natalie with the theremin and use, Shield, there's a lot of synth elements and stuff, so it's more of a hybrid score, so it's really fun to kind of work within that world that's already established, but find your own kind of sound within it and build the palette. And yeah, finding new sounds. I think the Loki score is, I think, one of the most unique sounding scores, unique palettes that I have heard in a very, very long time. I adored it. So yeah, when you strike gold like that, she's on something. Good. Anyone else?
I actually have one just like that. It's sitting on my hard drive. It's been there for 10 years. It's called, all caps, the most awesome sound ever created. And it has not found a home yet, but I'm determined.
Well, I have library. I'm a flute player, and I recorded my flute a lot. And you can, with Contact, you can create a virtual instrument from your samples. And there's like a lot of them sitting there waiting for something. It might appear in Star Trek at some point because I can hold you over until the player has gone apart. So I hope so.
Steel drums.
I've tried to get steel drums in probably 7 or 8 different
Really?
comedy stores.
Doesn't work in the boys?
Don't give up, Chris. Don't give up.
I keep trying, and almost always they're like, I love everything about this cue. What's that Caribbean stuff in the back? Why is there reggae here? And I just keep trying. One of these days, somebody's going to let me get the steel drum.
I've got the same thing with the gamelan. I've been trying to get that in somewhere.
Yeah.
I even recorded it, and yeah, they were like, no, don't like that.
Should be soon.
Soon.
I actually used it in Batman.
Oh, sorry.
You used the gamelan in Batman. That was yeah. It's hidden underneath all those sound effects, so you can't hear it. Trust me, it's in there. Yes.
I think it's about, for me, like, hearing, I try and go to lots of concerts and listen to things and be inspired by musicians. Like, I often feel that, you know, when you hire a musician to come in and play something, and like that Norwegian folk violinist that I had playing for me on Loki, he'd play a phrase and you just hear it, and it would bring a really simple phrase alive in a really unusual way. So I often find, don't be limited by samples and try and kind of bring musicians on, because it always inspires something a bit different.
Yeah. I always find that's amazing. Like, my favorite part is the surprises that the musicians will bring to you. The gifts they give you on every score. It's incredible. So, yes, who's next?
Hi, okay. So this question, Michael, for example, sorry. For example, you incorporated the James Horner score from Amazing Spider-Man and Danny Elfman's Spider-Man theme in No Way Home. So I guess my question is, when you have this rich lineage of movie themes, hero themes, and leitmotifs, how do you decide if you're going to incorporate that or you're going to go in a new direction?
The story will tell me what it needs. You know, those things were connected to very specific characters, so it wouldn't have been right to use those themes anywhere else in that movie. But with those characters, it felt right, especially for them coming together. And you also don't want to do it too many times either. If you do it too many times, it's like telling the same joke over and over again. It just loses its power. So it's about finding the right moment to use those themes. I mean, I'm sure we've all at some point or another had to use some melody from something. And, you know, you just have to use your judgment to the best thing. But again, what I don't like is when it's just used over and over and over again, you know, because then it just doesn't, it loses its power. Does anyone have anything to add to that?
I have a lot of that, you know, in my tricks in Star Trek, because there's a famous fanfare, and, you know, so you don't want to overuse it, just like Michael said. But you do want to use it because it's fun and it's nostalgic, and it brings, you know, it brings the right amount of heroism, and you know, it is the essence of Star Trek, so you do want to use that, but not too much.
We also have a lot of us here on the stage and then the opportunity to work on Marvel projects, which is a huge universe with interconnected characters and stories. And I think certainly more recently, especially, I think a larger group of all the Marvel composers have done a great job incorporating themes from other movies and by other composers, which I think is really, really important to sort of connect those stories together in a giant musical tapestry.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Next.
Steal my thunder. I had a similar question about using motifs and how do you contextualize it. And have you ever had a motif or theme, specifically like one character idea, and were able to force it to be used for other movies in similar scenes?
Using a theme?
Like, you had a theme great for a specific character, but it ended up becoming an overarching theme for the film instead?
Oh, yeah. I mean, that happens a lot. A lot of times, I mean, you know, I don't know. Somebody went up.
Yeah, I would say for
even in the boys, there was a theme that this violin, sort of classical violin thing that happens in season 1 when Huey's sort of tearing up his room and has completely just gone off the rails. And then they tempt it in season 2 when Homelander was going off the rails in the hallway, and then it ended up being developed later on at the end. I remember saying something to Eric Kripke, who runs the show, and he's like, it's not the Huey going off the rails theme, it's the going off the rails theme. It works, and this is what I want to hear. So it actually ends up being this sort of like, everything's going wrong and falling apart theme. So it's no longer tied to the character that I originally wrote it for, but it seems to work.
But do you find often you write a theme that gets rejected? Because people often say, oh, you can put that in your bottom drawer and bring it out something else. But I've never found that works.
No, it never works.
So if you've written something and then you try and pull it out for some other project,
I just usually delete it.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, you were not worthy.
Yeah.
I will say I had to take the pizzicato patch out of my template because it's talking about using all the Marvel themes, because it's so hard to write a comedy scene and just not end up writing Ant-Man. It's like you get one piss note in your head, so I just took it out of my template. It's an earworm.
Ear ends.
What was that?
So earworm, ear ends.
I'm still sleeping. All right, next up.
Hi, thanks for being here. Natalie, this is for you. I wanted to ask about the lokification of the Ride of the Valkyries theme. And at what point in the creative process that was brought in, or did you come up with that when you were just scoring the episode?
Yeah, I did. Well, so the Loki theme, I kind of came up with the bass line on the piano, and I wanted something over the top, like a flourish that was kind of Shakespearean and classical, and I tried a little Mozart kind of figure, and then I just thought, from Ride of Valkyries, and it seemed to go together. So that was in Loki's theme, but quite subtly. And then when I was watching episode 5 in the spotting session, and I saw the Richard E. Grant character, and like, this is classic Loki, and I said, shall I just try the whole Ride of the Valkyries for him? Because it seemed appropriate, and he's fighting this giant monster. And so yeah, it just kind of evolved organically. It wasn't my plan from the beginning to put that in there.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, thank you so much for giving such depth and emotion to all the different TV shows and films that we watch every day. My question is kind of, you hit upon it in the first one. Do you have specific artists in mind when you do your compositions? Like they have a certain talent with an instrument or range?
Yeah, who wants to take that? Jump in.
I'll take it. Absolutely, I love doing that. I love writing for specific, people that I admire. A lot of times, growing up being a guitar player in rock bands, I have like a list of the people I wanted to meet, and so starting with the movie Horrible Bosses, and you've seen that, which is an Oscar movie, maybe. So I was a huge Beastie Boys fan growing up, and I loved Pearl Jam. So we got the chance to do this tour, and we actually got the guitar player from Pearl Jam and the keyboard player from Beastie Boys and the drummer from Beck, and brought them in specifically to do what they do. And I tried to do that as often as possible, but half of it was just because I wanted to have them. I want to grab their real brilliance and learn all their tricks, but it really is it's definitely a perk of the job.
I'm going through that now. I'm about to start a score that is a period piece set in the 60s, and I had this idea. In fact, this is what got me the job. I pitched the idea, let's get the session players who were alive in the 60s to come and play on the score. Great idea, you're hired. So I reached out to one of the most famous session players who was around in the 60s, or part of the group called the Wrecking Crew. There's a great documentary. Her name, escapes me. Okay. I emailed her, I'm like, hey, are you guys still around? Like, you guys want to do this movie with me? And she writes back and she's like, dude, we're all like 95. It's a miracle for us to even make it to the grocery store, those of us who are alive. I was like, okay, I guess that's another.
Then you went down your list of session players from the 70s.
Yeah, well, that's next, right?
Yeah, okay. Into the 80s was... Yes. Next.
Hey there.
Hello.
I just wanted to say really quick, thank you for not only making our day in the movies great, but my friends and I use your scores for playing D&D and all this stuff too. So thanks after the show for our walks into hell. So anyway, my question is for Michael. One of my favorite things about the Batman was the Dies Irae motif running through so many of the songs. It made the whole tones of the movie so menacing. I was wondering, how do you work from developing something so timeless as like that classical choral motif into this new gritty superhero mode?
It's a lot of fear and frustration, and you're always just hoping something's going to work. You know what I mean? Honestly, you just keep at it until when you watch the movie with this music in it, that there's something that's working together, that they work together. A lot of times when you're writing, the first passes, the music is fighting the movie, you know, because you're trying to get out all these ideas. But little by little, as you chip away at it, it starts to blend in with the movie. That's the moment I'm always waiting for, you know, and sometimes it comes faster than others, and you just kind of have to wait for it. I don't know, how do you guys feel about it? Doing that kind of, you know.
Yeah, it's like the biggest challenge is to figure out the concept or the main theme or like the main themes of the characters. And once you have that, it's like half of your puzzle as a result. Like you have the frame, and so it becomes easier, and then it's just about spotting and like finding the nuance in the scene. But it becomes significantly easier once that big, concept is ready to go.
Yeah.
I'm just zoned out because I love your dress.
My sister made it. Wow. Credit to your house. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Hi everybody, how's it going?
Good, how are you doing?
This is a question for Michael. How was it getting to work with Matt again? You guys have worked on so many projects together to come up with the theme for the Batman.
Matt is one of my favorite people to work with on the planet. I love him dearly and would do anything for him. He's just one of those filmmakers that is, he's so into every single detail of everything that goes into that movie, everything. And so one of my favorite parts of the process is once I have written everything, Matt comes over and we sit and we watch it all back. We listen to it together, we watch it against picture. And that's when I feel like that's when the whole thing comes to life in a whole new way. Because he'll have an idea for something and he'll say, well, what if you just didn't change, you just keep doing this instead? Or what, you know, he always has just great suggestions and great ideas, and he always knows where he wants to go emotionally with something. So that's really fun for me, to get into that level of collaboration with somebody. And I think at its best, when you're collaborating with the director, that's what you're able to do. You know, there's that great symbiotic relationship that's happening right there in front of you. How many of you have worked with the same director on multiple projects? Yeah. And there's something wonderful about that, right? That shorthand that comes into it. So,
And then they bury your music in selfies. You need a support group. You kill yourself on an action scene for like 3 days, and you're so proud of it, and then you see the final product, and you're like, there's music here, you know, just
Yeah, but that's why you gotta go to the dub. Start yelling at people. You gotta go be part of it. Yeah, so hopefully that answers that. It feels like I look. Oh, we have 1 minute left here. What words of wisdom can each of you?
Thank you for your time.
Yes, thank you. What words of wisdom can each of you bestow upon this audience? Yeah, let's start with Natalie and work our way. Come on.
I'm not sure.
Actually, how about this? Why don't we tell them what to look for when they're watching something? What to listen for?
I always feel like music's working in different levels, and sometimes it works when you're not noticing it, and then sometimes it just pokes itself out, and you walk away from a movie with the theme ringing in your ears, which is kind of why I got into it, because of John Williams, and, you know, coming away from E.T. So, yeah, I love it when that happens, and it adds to the movie.
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing for me that we probably all feel, especially when we're working with the same directors and producers all the time. So Eric Kripke, who created Supernatural and runs The Boys, and I've been working with for 25 years when we were roommates, we were next door neighbors in college, and then lived across the hall afterwards. You know, he often says to me, like, I get that they're fighting, but why are they fighting? I want you to score why they're fighting. I want you to score what he was scared of when he looks in Starlight's eyes. And it's always about character, it's always about story, it's almost never about action.
Yes.
That's deep. Yeah.
Well said.
I'll just add to that, it's also it's about the emotion, really. Because we see the action on the screen, we see it, like it's there. So yeah, I tried to go for the emotion. And the other thing is that I often listen to soundtracks before I see the movies, which helps to listen to the movie. Like, you know, I love doing that. I've been doing that for 20 years.
Yeah, my favorite part of film music is when the score can give you a layer of storytelling that is not already on the screen. It ties into what Chris was saying. Yeah, they're fighting, but why are they fighting? For me, it's incredibly powerful when your eyes are telling you one story and your ears are telling you a related but different one. And those are the most magical moments for me.
I would say just specifically working on She-Hulk, one thing I love about working in the MCU now, which is awesome, is the Easter eggs. And that there's a lot of Easter eggs in the score. There's a lot of talk about using the score to hint at things that I think a lot of people miss. But there's visual Easter eggs, but also oral Easter eggs. And that's really fun to think about, will this catch someone? Will someone get this? Are you picking up on what I'm down?
Well, it has been a great honor to be here with you guys today. You guys are all fantastic. Huge fans. I am a huge fan of all of you. So I want to say, let's give them a big